decent damage, but here we go. Off the
Up
wave.
for Isma, gets the stun against the wall. The wave has died. Come falls first. Laure able to flash away from the tower. The buff doesn't go down. Markoon gets the knock up onto Isma, who can just dash away. But the re-engage coming out as Nisqy oversteps. Markoon survives.
For those long-time viewers, they'll be familiar.
Oh! Didn't have flash. Didn't have the satchel either. Must have used it earlier on.
Not expecting that damage.
And Comp and Larson are forced away. The lasers find them. And that's it. The lady has sung SK.
And welcome back to the Marriott Bonvoy post-game check-in here, joined by Nisqy after SK Gaming first win here in summer. First things first, congratulations.
Thank you.
It was an interesting game, a bit slow-paced, to say the least. How did you navigate through all this to grab the win in the end? Because, as you said, a lot of wave clear was kind of difficult to pierce through their offenses in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we had the early game draft, kinda, and they just wanted to scale. So we made sure to take like every Drake, every tower on the map. And then even when we had like Elder and Nash, they would just give up and let Ziggs farm. So yeah, I mean, they played good from behind, but I feel like they couldn't really win if we didn't fuck up, I guess.
You took it in the end. But coming back here in summer after, I believe it was 10 weeks without playing, what is the most difficult thing when you come back on stage?
I think it's just getting back into the mindset to play like competitive league, kinda. Because I mean, scrims are one thing, but then when you go on stage, the games are way slower. Maybe you feel stressed. Also, we have a new ball lane, so like integrating them into our game and their communication and whatnot. I mean, I tried that. They felt like good in game this game. I was like, oh, Rell, nice, and like Luo, nice, and stuff. So I think they were faring pretty good, yeah.
I will touch on the new bot lane a bit later, but talking about the past split, you guys ended in the 7th place,
Yeah.
I believe. What was the learning during the offseason? And please tell me that one of them was never shaving your head again.
I mean, the learning was, I feel like we didn't really have like a game play, kinda, or like we didn't have plans. We all wanted to play the game in like a different way. We're like fighting each other in comms to know what we actually have to do and whatnot. Also, like the mood wasn't like 100% good, I would say. So I think a lot of things that we learned, and I feel like we worked on it a lot in the off season. And yeah, I mean, we also changed two players, right? And
Yeah.
I think as of now it's going really good, but it's also the beginning, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so in that sense, bringing in your new bot lane, Korean bot lane specifically, do you think you guys are aligned on the same page when it comes to the way you see the game? And tell me how it's been integrating them into the team.
I feel like even if they have, let's say, like their own way to play the game, they don't really care about like what they think. They just want to follow us. I feel like they are very like kind and like disciplined. And like if I say, oh, we go top, they're like, okay, we go top, rather than being like, no, I want to play for bot and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, they're very, very hungry, and I think they showed a really great game one. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they will do tomorrow against Hansa and Mickey.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I mean, having a Korean bot lane, I hope you picked up some Korean, Nisqy. Have you?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to teach you something really useful here. Jonon.
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 NPC.
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 Imnida.
Imida.
Jonon.
Jonon.
NPC.
NPC.
Imnida.
Imida. What does
There
it
you go.
mean?
I'm an NPC.
Oh.
Thank you so much, Nisqy. GB, Eragon, back to you to talk about the bot lane. Take it away, guys.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Laure. Yeah, we want to talk about two of the best AD carries in our league, at least last split, when we saw in Spring Split. And obviously, that's Carzzy and Ice. Now, Eragon, what is it that is so good about these two AD carries?
Well, look, okay. In winter, I was the only caster analyst. I'm going to call Laure out.
Okay, sure.
He was by far the best AD carry. I was the only one to vote for him for All-Pro. And in the spring, it was the exact same thing. He was by far the best in playoffs at least.
Well, you weren't the only one that voted for him in spring.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You guys call on. But he always has the most damage. He always has the worst KDA. And I just feel like that's such a Chad move.
I completely agree. And I think it's also just what he's able to do with those small resources that he's also getting and the damage numbers he's able to point out. I think like he was such a complete AD carry in spring in terms of his champion pool, in terms of the agency he was able to take. I think that game right here in Sire was a statement game. There's also a Yasuo game. We don't talk about that game, but it's also the fact that he can play a signature Ezreal and he's just got so much variety in his play.
Yeah, I think variety is the key word here, right? We've seen LPL and now a couple games on the LEC, and the meta has changed again. We just saw Ziggs bot lane. You're getting way more utility carries. All of last split, BDS were going through some kind of evolution where they were playing way more for bot side and way less utility, which they had, which was like Varus and Jhin. But that's back, right? We have Varus and Jhin way more against the Varus Ashe rotations, and Ice has already proven to be adaptable as well and has the ability to play the meta.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting about Ice because of that specifically. Because when we looked at Ice in Spring, obviously also huge performances that came out from him there, but he was also very often on a champion like Seri, which we haven't seen too much. So you talk about this adaptation. What is it you're expecting from a player like Ice then, Eragon?
It's really surprising. I think he's going to go straight back to Jhin Varus. I wouldn't be surprised to see trades in draft like Jhin into Varus. You just give Varus over because it's very high prio, because he absolutely loves it. He was known for it before. I think we're going to move completely away from the crit AD carries again. They're seeing absolutely zero prio globally. Champions like the Zeri are just not being seen. But I would say that it's back to Jhin and Varus.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he already performed on those champions as well, and you can see it here on the different champion pool that they had in Spring. It obviously was very different, but even from the different champions that Ice was playing as well, Aphelios, Az, and Lucian and Zeri are very much different in terms of what they're bringing to the table. Yeah. But obviously, these two AD carries are playing against each other today. Who's really going to get the edge in this matchup, Eragon?
Look, I think Carzzy is the best AD carry we have in the league. I think Carzzy is by far and away the best, and it's not even close. Ice is almost up there, but Carzzy is adaptable. He has pocket picks, and he always does the most damage. I'm on the side of Carzzy.
Okay, that's statement analysis. I like it. Well, let's see how these two will perform on the Rift. Drakos, Dagda, take it away.
A lot of Carzzy hype coming through. Thank you very much, gentlemen. 80 carries, I think the natural place to focus. Lyncas, of course, coming in. Heard about him at the start of the day on Ready Check. Thank you again, Eragon, for that quick breakdown. And now we can see how he performs. But for 80 carries, I mean, this is where you want to be. This is kind of where you want to cast your focus. There's a lot of interesting stuff happening in the meta right now. But for me, no matter what's picked bottom lane, as long as it doesn't build lethality, I will be excited about it. But for now, we need to see how both these teams want to approach this brand new meta. We've only seen 2 drafts thus far. Some oddities, some standouts in terms of how we compare to LPL. Obviously, the main region that people are looking towards, of course, LPL is on Fearless. So their champion pools might look a little bit deeper right now, but we'll at least get to see the high prio picks come through for both these lineups.
Yeah, it still surprises me that we haven't seen some of the picks that I expected to come through. Like, we're still seeing Skarner Band a heap has been red side every single game thus far today, but things like the Tristana mid, I thought we see a little bit higher priority. So I'm curious, especially as we start to lean in towards teams like G2, because Caps had a brilliant performance on at MSI, if we get to see that again. But coming into Vitality and Team BDS, this is where I think you are correct. Put your eyes in that bottom lane. This is where a huge amount of those heavy hitters are going to come towards, and see if they can get their hands on towards something like a Corki or Callisto or something that can just look to take over that bottom lane.
Something aggressive, certainly. For now, you see the teams huddled up, heads in the game, getting ready. Of course, for BDS, they made no changes, and they're a team that's incredibly steady, has been incredibly steady for the last 2 years, essentially. So expect them to kind of hit the ground running here in this split. Vitality might need a little bit more time to adapt. They were one of our front runners in the previous season, at least in the regular season. Did struggle to convert that in playoffs, of course, losing to Fnatic.
I think, though, with Lyncas being added in here, I kind of have high expectations for them. A lot of people saying, hey, look, on paper, this is an upgrade. But also you heard, like, Carzzy talking about how they're doing great in scrims. Mac talked about how Lyncas coming in is really going to add that adaptability that they wanted in the jungle, and especially someone who could try and work with Hylissang. So I am curious to see how that pairing is going to go, and I'll be keeping my eyes on that. But Corki taken immediately here, no real surprises. I am curious though if we get a bit more of those AP junglers like we've been seeing in the LPL, or if we're kind of sticking more to what we've actually seen here, like the Zinzaos, a little bit of Sejuani, which I was really surprised to see.
Sejuani, of course, one of the many champions who can make the most of the Warmog's changes, just generally a strong first item. But yeah, I feel what you're saying. Whenever we see AD mid laners, remember that Corki is now an AD mid laner, in case you've missed out on the litany of patch changes that have come through since MSI. I hold my breath. I want to see it, please. They probably won't pick it. No. But of course, whenever you pick an AD mid laner, we expect to be paired with an AP jungler. So what is the option going to be for the side of Vitality? Do they want to go for something a bit more aggressive? Karthus not really in the wheelhouse of Lyncas from what we have seen in the previous season. maybe something he wants to pull out here. Is for now, BDS, pretty stable early rotation here with the Taliyah, with the Nautilus. Nautilus, I think, still considered the best blind pick support by far.
It's also when you see a lot of the changes coming through to like top laners, where you want to go more carry orientated, junglers are more carry orientated. You kind of need that bot lane to step up and be those engage tools. So that's why we've started to see a little bit more Ashe AD carry, where you can provide that utility, but also then Nautilus just becomes the creme de la creme because he's just so good at providing those engages in the bottom side and doesn't really have too many bad matchups. And now on the upside, Rell also going to come in, who's decent enough into the Nautilus, and then you've got that AP jungler to allow this Corki to go in mid lane and really abuse the Halo blades and potential lethality option that you have.
Alongside the Lillia, Cavalry on the side of Team Vitality, but now the Senna being brought out, a relatively safe pairing. Of course, that at least has not really changed since MSI. We'll see if there's any build adaptations to come through for Ice and who is going to take the CS in that one.
Yeah, I hadn't seen like Cavalry with air support before, so I'm curious to see.
They're really covering all their bases.
Yeah.
You know, this is the art of war coming through. Will it be a good comp? Hard to say, but from a purely real-world tactical standpoint, they just need some anti-cavalry, and they're set, man.
Yeah, BDS.
LS is over here like, yes, the phalanx, yes, more historical references.
I mean, BDS definitely have a good front to back, so I think you're going to have your work cut out for you here as Vitality to try and see if you can get control in these early stages to set up for that. I think Lillia, obviously someone that loves to dance around in these team fights, but you do have decent lockdown coming through with the Nautilus that can try and deal with her, so I think this is going to be a nice test for Lyncas, and you kind of alluded already, he's a big tank player in the last couple of splits, but this is definitely a guy that we've seen trend from being more of that carry jungler into the tank junglers and now coming back into a carry meta. It looks like he's feeling good to let loose and actually try and go back to his roots of being that more carry oriented jungler.
Which I want to see. I think anytime you're going to make a debut on stage, playing something that's signature, playing something that's core to you, playing something aggressive, really so you can show us the most. So many players come onto stage, they're a bit more reserved, a bit more cautious, and I feel like that just stifles that early growth, those early performances.
It's also something that really lets you play in with Hylissang, right? If Hilly starts to roam around with Lyncas, like that's a very dangerous duo. Just the amount of setup that you have with the Rell, and then also having like the extra watch out Eeps that you can land, the ultimates that can come through. It's a very strong two-person jungle support. So I'm excited to see what they can do, because that is kind of what I expect to be the core now of Vitality with Lyncas coming into the team.
Kind of has to be, right? And adaptability was one of the things that Mac talked about. For now, already being able to pull out the AP champion the first week looks good. Sheo, he does go for the Viego here. Again, just Team BDS, this feels very like this draft could have happened last season. We talked about like, oh man, all these crazy new picks coming out, and you certainly see them in the ban department, but in the pick department, BDS are like, well, same stuff's still good. It's going to build a little different, most certainly, but in terms of the actual pick ban, pretty identical to what we saw in spring.
I do wonder what Adam's top lane is going to be, though, because I like the change that we're seeing with utility coming in the bot lane, like the Sennas, the Ashes, the Jins. We even heard GB and Eragon talk about, like, you can set up really well for your team, and it feels like BDS kind of have that set up already. But it's, do you want to just rely on Labrov as that one engage tool, or do you want to fall back into something that's a bit more tank and frontline orientated to enable us or enable Sheo on this Viego? And it looks like that might be the case with the Cassante over at the moment.
Cassante getting hovered, but it's going to be the Orianna locked in alongside the Lillia. So it looks like the Corki will be going down to the bottom side of the map. Overall, very heavy magic damage coming through in the mid lane. Remember that tenacity in general is much harder to get here, so a lot of the CC is still going to be effective. The old adage of you just rush Mercs and it's fine. Not as many additional tenacity tools on top of that, so see how Nuke fares in this early laning phase.
I mean, the fact you're up against double AP, though, means you can opt in towards those early Mercs and be relatively all right. Same when it comes towards Sheo, right? So I think definitely the Corki going in towards the bottom side of the map has made the mid jungle a little bit easier for Team BDS, but I think Vitality, like, you have a ton of aggression on that bottom side. You can look to play around, try and lean Hylissang in towards the mid lane, especially around level 6. You get the combo with the Rell and the Orianna ults. There is so much activity that Vitality can try and go towards. So I want to see how BDS try and keep that in check as we start to come into the mid game where they come online.
Definitely something they have to kind of try to hold on to and maintain. And we'll see if Nuke is the guy who can kind of do a lot of what he did in spring, which was, I think, get more out of lane, be a more active playmaker on the side lane. Taliyah is going to empower him to do that. So as much as you have to respect that level 6, the combo potential in mid lane, if Nuke can get an advantage early on, can just get out of this lane alongside Sheo, that pretty easy setup with the Viego stun into the flick back, jungle mid synergy feels like it's going to be big for both sides.
I mean, you definitely, when you look towards Vitality, that's kind of where they need to get the ball rolling, because you got a Renekton that you want to try and play around like early Void Grubs and having control on that top side of the map. You also want to have, the, as you say, the Taliyah working in tandem with Sheo. So I think you've got, the Lillia working in tandem with the Orianna. So you really want to make sure that's all going to work out. Drakos got the wrong off button. But we'll see how it goes as we get into game one. Not any more hiccups, sneezes, or anything in between.
Wow. Allergies are a killer Dagda. Sorry to anyone at home who just listened to me sneeze, or anyone in the audience. I really tried to hit the cough button, just didn't hit it in time. That will not be your breaking news, but KK Gaming at X. Just segue that into it, to a shout out to somebody else. Rob, here's my concern. So far today, the games have been a bit slow, and it is day one of the season. You know, teams gotta work into the meta, gotta ease into everything overall, but I can see this game also being kind of slow. If you know, if BDS are just hanging out, getting their Senna stacks, slowly but surely scaling into that inevitable threat that a late game Senna can be.
I think the biggest thing is that Lyncas really wants to get in and try and invade and be in the face of Sheo. And when you've got Carzzy, you should have decent push on that bottom side of the map. Photon should be able to control top side. I think he has a lot of the support of it. So I think that's why we see Vitality setting up these wards early. It's a, hey, we want to spot out where Sheo is. We want to try and get involved in the enemy jungle. So I think if BDS are going to defend, it's going to have to be through brute force.
But so far, they're just going to kind of back away here. Vitality don't want to overcommit. Bit of a fight on the bottom side of the map. Vitality conceding a bit of brush control there. Hylissang has opted to start. W does manage to lock up Ice as well, and that's the power. The Gatling gun, those resistances obliterated, ignited, the cleanse, just barely allowing Ice to hold on to his life.
And you can see why Corki's just so dumb at the moment. Hail of Blades is disgusting on this champion. The armor shred that comes off the E is insane. It's why we see it max now. It just does so much work in these early stages. And now Labrov may just have to back away from this, as Hilly and Carzzy just going to push him away.
Just getting zoned away, right? But especially early on when you're just walking forward, feels a lot like a rumble queue in terms of how it functions, but you're reducing those resistances, and in mid lane it's the 1v1, but here, Hylissang is also getting that advantage. And maybe in a lot of early all-ins you weren't too concerned about a Rell auto or two. You should be worried. Every little bit of damage matters up, and we talked earlier behind the scenes, like Hail of Blades will sometimes feel like a head scratcher as you get later in the game, but early on it's such a powerhouse for gaining control of the lane. It makes a ton of sense why Carzzy would take it.
Especially if you do go the lethality route. We saw the Triforce into Infinity Edge, but a lot of what we've been seeing over in the LPL is more the opportunity and going in towards that more lethality style build, and I think that's where you really start to see the shred come into its own, and also then the Hail of Blades, because you just get so much damage off. It's one of the big reasons that he had to be nerfed coming in on 2-4-11.
Yeah. Dirk's also taken down a little bit. If you played for the brief period of time where you just built 5 serrated Dirks and ruined everybody's life.
Yeah, I saw Scout build 2 serrated Dirks and then Valkyrie into a Talon and one-shot him. And I was like, that's not how AD carries are supposed to function. You're supposed to die to Talon at level 5.
No, I think that's good. Yeah, that's justice. If you're a Talon player, sorry, but that's just, you know, it's going to happen. You have to accept your fate. Vetheo getting lane control. Orianna early on, obviously doing pretty solid. Nuke hit a good flick back earlier, but you can see he's essentially out of mana. He's got one more biscuit left. He's going to pop it now just to get enough to try and clear the way, but that's a level 2 Hylissang waiting in the brush. Lyncas also hanging out behind him. Nuke luckily hovering to the right side, but do they want to full commit? The answer is hell yeah. Nuke instantly flashes out. And people sometimes are skeptical about how aggressive Hylissang is, but if that was a different support, he might not have flashed. But he saw that name tag, and he knew this guy will flash on me. There is no doubt in my mind, Hilly will 1-for-1 me under this tower, so he gave him that respect flash.
Yeah, he will die for the cause and to make sure you lose CS, but not going to be the case this time around. And Sheo was there to try and help, but unfortunately moved up towards that top side, so not really in position, but now low top laners, and he's here.
Unstoppable. Q3 still there for Adam. Not quite able to pull back Photon. Sheo coming up though. Photon now going to be in trouble. Tries to get the kill back. Goes in and gets the first blood. Sheo now trying to clean up the kill. Will grab the kill back onto Photon. Takes a bit longer than he'd like. But excellent play there from the Vitality top laner.
You'll take that as Photon. You end up burning basically all summoner spells in the trade, and you still end up coming out with a kill for yourself. You still got the CS lead. Now Hilly looking for more.
Going in again. Ice really doesn't have a lot of damage here. Labrov will be able to hook out to safety, but now they're just going to go for Ice instead. The amount of damage coming out of this Corki is disgusting.
Just didn't quite have enough mana for the Phosphorus Bomb, though, on the way out, so end up going to just be able to escape there as Ice, but full lane control for Carzzy and Hilly, and this is what I wanted to see whenever you get a Corki in the spot lane, is you just go crazy, lose your mind, go in aggressive every single opportunity, and you can fully take control of those lanes.
Look, all I'm saying is that this team might need a little bit more respect in the ban phase. It's a flex pick. It dominates lane against just about everything. It's looking like a meta terror here is Photon doing his best to just try and get some plates. Does manage to get the Demolish proc, doesn't quite finish the plate, but gives up a lot of his health to do it. Did use TP to return to the lane following that topside exchange, and early Bramble Vest for Adam will at least mitigate some of Photon's healing, but of course he can just choose not to attack the Cassante and focus on getting the healing off the wave.
Yeah, has the level 6 now as well, so if he's in dire straits, should be able to pop that and get a good chunk of health back. But also, as you say, just trading. The only thing it might affect is, say if you want to try and look towards early Void Grubs, maybe not having Photon with as much health makes you a little bit more vulnerable on that top side if you're Lyncas, but I think you're relatively okay here. And again, we're kind of seeing Lyncas and Hilly at least trying to sync up to a certain extent, hovering around mid, making sure Sheo can't really get in to set up a nuke.
Doing what they can to mitigate. But now that level 6 point for Vetheo, that setup. Lyncas on his way. Setting his sights on little grubbies on the top side. For the first time this game, it feels like bot lane finally going to be pushed in, allowing Labrov and Ice to get out of lane. Once that Lillia hits 6, it's just so easy to get the setup anywhere they want. All they're really able to do, though, on the side of BDS is clear out, get a bit of vision down. They'll know when Drake is starting. They'll find out shortly that first spawn of grubs has been taken down.
It is a bit weird, though, to see a deer with a cute Scottish accent then just going through a jungle murdering everything else in the forest.
Is that not? I don't know a lot of Scottish people, Rob. Is that not? Is that not a Scottish thing? Do you not prance and murder? I don't know.
There's a part of me that wants to defend my Celtic brother, and the other side that just wants to go, yes, immediately. They see a bag of chips, it's full on, they're done.
Cute and dangerous. I don't know. I feel like that's pretty good as far as Scottish generalizations could go.
I don't know. I feel like you either get Shrek or what's the other Entangled? Is that the one? Or what's the
Tangled
other Disney movie?
the red hair,
the redhead arrow woman. I can't think of
Brave.
No, Brave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good film. Good engage on the bot side. Labrov, nice interrupt on the Hilly. Carzzy still does 1 million damage though, and Ice just really doesn't do a lot. He at least gets a few auto attacks back. You can see next to the top side of Senna's face there, those are the number of stacks that Ice has accrued. It's only 21 thus far. BDS starting the objective. Vetheo and Lyncas moving down. Bit of a split fight though. Very easy for BDS to collapse onto either side. Now Hylissang immediately has to back up. Carzzy level 6 starts to poke with the rockets. Playing on the edge here. Hylissang very much playing on the edge. Hook not gonna land. Just glides by him. They will concede the Drake to the side of BDS.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. They'd already gotten the Void Grubs, so I think they were kind of assuming BDS would have gone for it earlier, but just threatening, but just going to back away instead and make sure it's all good. Still, though, you're getting as much control as you possibly want from the bot side, and maybe
good
more.
Engage. Dive forward, Labrov. Still getting shredded. Mitigates it a bit, but Hylissang, of course, still not ticking over to level 6. Makes that a bit harder to pull off. Labrov, because he does have that farm, is that much tankier.
Also, just a great hook from Labrov. Interrupted the crash down from Hylissang, so didn't actually get the CC off in the end. Gives him the aftershock. He's able to survive the initial amount of damage that comes through from Carzzy. So overall, just nicely done by Labrov to keep themselves up and healthy. But unfortunately, this isn't going to kind of stop. It's just you've so much that's going to come through from this bottom side. And I'm kind of waiting for the moment where it starts to spill over into other lanes. We've already seen Hilly start to roam, and I think that's going to be more of what we see in a moment. You already see Lyncas as well starting to get into the face of Sheo now that he knows he's got support comes through from top and mid if needs be.
Manages to get the big Raptor as well, and just so much poke damage coming in. Lillia so obnoxious when you don't have someone else around to try and finish the kill in those extended fights. Full engage at the bottom. Labrov trying to back away. Ice still walking up to grab stacks with a lot of confidence there, but Adam going to be forced to back away from this tower. Photon grabbing another plate. Sheo kind of threatening, but it's not really working because Lyncas knows that he has a full health top laner waiting right beside him, and Vetheo now on the way. Sheo Has the ulti if he wants to try and get out, but he W's in. Taking the time, unstoppable. Sheo forced away from the red buff. Lyncas going to grab this too. All of Vitality coming together to give Lyncas all of Sheo's topside jungle. That has to feel good for the rookie on the stage.
I mean, the fact that you end up drafting the Corki initially means you basically guarantee push on boss because you end up getting the flex. You get the counter pick in mid, and you already got the Renekton topside that gets good shove even with the Carzzy coming through. So Vitality just playing really well off of 3 pushing lanes and making things nigh on impossible for BDS to even try and defend their topside. And you're just going to slowly but surely see this open up more and more. We're already looking at 1,000 top, nearly 1,000 boss as well.
Damn good early leads. And remember, it was BDS that knocked Vitality down in the spring playoffs. 2-1 for BDS. Vitality still made a pretty deep run, ultimately losing to Fnatic. But this is a team that looked pretty menacing. And the fact that they're off to such a strong start is a damn good look for the rest of the season. Of course, game's not over yet. It is just, 1.5K. Maybe once Ice is able to get out of this lane, Labrov is able to get out of this lane, things should get a little bit easier for the side of BDS, but they really haven't been able to make too many proactive plays on the map outside of kind of the reactionary gank in top lane.
We're still going to see a lot of what Hilly did best in... Oh, hang on. He's just going to back it up. I was going to say what we saw him do best in spring, which was kind of being that nuisance in the early stages, which was supporting and getting out on the map early to make sure... Oh, he's going to get caught here, though.
Hylissang, good flick. Hylissang now getting bursted out, trying to dash out, gets a bit extra shielding from the crash down, but will just drop BDS. Donated a bit of a kill there. Now have some cavalry of their own as Vetheo starts to pull back. In the meantime, however, the grub's already getting taken away, so a good pick, good look from BDS, but costing them the 4 grub buff, potentially, and it looks like confirmed to be 6 here, is going to be difficult for upcoming pushes.
Yeah, Carzzy had already TP'd into bot and was pushing in on that bottom side of the map, so BDS had to go down and defend it, know that they would, even with the kill, still be at a bit of a disadvantage as Labrov would move down there, so just going to take it easy instead. Now, look at mid the lane though.
Extra movement speed, Curse of the Black Mist. Vetheo still just doing what he can to clear the wave. All right, so just a push play here is Lyncas. In the meantime, just trying to rapidly grab the Scuttle Crab before they completely lose mid-prio. 1,000 gold difference, 6 grubs to a single Drake. Still favoring Vitality, given that they already had push from so many lanes.
Yeah, and that's why I was kind of talking about Hilly getting out of lane. In spring, we saw him a lot trying to facilitate lanes, being like, hey, I will come to cover as you push, and allow Dagda to farm up. And we're kind of seeing a similar job here at Lyncas, where Lyncas is just kind of getting to do whatever the hell he wants on the map because he has 3 pushing lanes and get the objectives. Because Hilly's kind of playing that pseudo, hey, I'm going to shadow all these lanes as they push out and make sure they're okay. But he did end up paying for it. But I still like the decision-making that we're seeing from Vitality, at least in these early stages.
So far, so good. Hollow Radiant's going to be the first pickup for Labrov. Won't help a ton in terms of the bot lane 2v2, but as we get later in the game, obviously Lyncas and Vetheo very heavily magic damage. Still a pretty good split on the composition with Photon and Carzzy making up for AD, but just does not want to get bursted out. And Carzzy, interesting build adaptation. We've seen a lot of Trinity Force in bot lane, but for now he's gone Phage and then he's gone BF. So curious to see where he goes next here.
Yeah, I'm assuming it will be the Triforce IE. And it's just like, hey, I'm going to stop off, pick up the BF sword because I have the gold for it. It's just a nice little chunk of extra damage. And then moving into the Trinity Force after. I know we see a lot over in the LPL was much more of the lethality style build, but it was a bit more mid lane focused than bot lane is Hilly. Just playing up here, has the support of Lyncas, but will be spotted.
Of course, no Lyncas is in the area. They see the sweeper come down and even it denies vision. These confirms that there's additional player in the area. Vetheo hitting him with a thumbs up. Both sides fighting for vision control around this Drake. I think we saw in our previous games today that Drake stacking seems to be, when you're not 100% confident in how to play the map on a new patch or with a new roster, Drake stacking seems to be the safe, reliable way to get a greater advantage.
Yeah, I feel like you're in a bit of a hard spot here as BDS though, because there's so much control in the waves. Actually getting the push on bot side is kind of the one angle in towards this, but Vitality have shoved out mid. They're now going to start to rotate in towards River and clear out a lot of the vision BDS had already established. And Photon, look at him, he's just hovering off the map. Just not, oh actually was standing a ward, but was basically just trying to sit out a lane. So BDS didn't know where he was, but the power of the pushing lanes making it really difficult for BDS to contest this.
Wow, BDS just forced to back off. Don't feel stronger in the fight. They've even finished Kraken for Sheo. He's relatively powerful, but the upfront burst damage that Vitality can bring to the table right now is frankly just disgusting. Because remember that Corki also shreds MR and you have 2 magic damage champions right there on their first item spike, it's kind of a death sentence to walk up.
Also, Luden's companion got changed as well, so you kind of just have a is this available or is it not available trigger, and it does way more burst damage because you're getting all 6 of those shots every time it ends up getting used. So Orianna already having that completed is going to be pretty damn strong coming into some of these fights, especially if you can set up with Hylissang on a big multi-man ultimate.
Yeah, so for now, Vitality very much building more and more advantages as Ice is forced to flash back. Vetheo, good use of the shockwave to get the cooldown there.
Bone plating as well. That's a lot of damage. And now Vitality, I mean, another objective for themselves. Only one going across.
they've only given up the 1 Drake, and I feel like we've only seen 2 plays on the map, but it's just Vitality in this draft have set themselves up for so much pressure. BDS finally ready to contest here, knowing that shockwave is down, thinking this might be their window of opportunity. Sheo not going to get marked up. Adam waiting off to the side. Ice coming in. They know he has no flash. Do they want to turn this 2K on the objective? Adam now trying to get them out of the pit. Dawning Shadow coming across the backside. Wall going in. Vetheo going to get knocked out, but he manages to get away from the rest of the team. Now it's Adam off in the side, but he's behind it in the back line against 3 carries, and he's not tanky enough. Vitality, get the objective, get the kill. It looks damn good.
BDS just set up that a little bit too quickly in River. They didn't have Labrov, Ice, or Nuke really in position. Vitality know it. Immediately flash up to Sheo, take him out of the equation. They get the objective, and now they can really start to open up this game, both with top tower about to fall and having that Rift Herald in their back pocket as well.
Super good execution as we look back at the replay here. Of course, it looks like it might start okay as Adam manages to isolate Lyncas, but after that, it just goes to hell so damn fast.
They have so much burst damage, and Nuke ults in just to try and get into position, but he only ends up kind of keeping Adam out of the, well, on the wrong side of the fight, because he ends up on the far side of the wall, can't really get back out. So Vitality, nicely done. And we kind of talked about it coming into this split, like Vitality is one of those teams to watch now, with Lyncas coming into the roster. And especially when you look at BDS, have always kind of been that gatekeeper into the top side of the bracket, of our league. It's a good start that Vitality have here against BDS.
Yeah, good look. Of course, it's only day 1, but when Lyncas just fits in immediately, plays Rell around the team, and it doesn't require a ton of bloody exchanges, is always going to feel good, especially because, again, BDS didn't change a member. You'd expect them to be more favored in terms of early execution, and this is a team that has beaten Vitality before. Of course, scrims coming into the week, you know, there's always going to be a bit of a variance in form, but BDS have been one of the most rock-solid teams in terms of what they bring to the table. Yes, you know what you're going to get, but very often it's enough to beat any team that is not in the top 5, although Vetheo now getting caught out on the flick back. Sheo debating if he can follow up, uses the mist, but nothing else to be had there. And I mean, frankly, BDS are just getting bled out of this game. The Senna does not do a lot of damage. The Viego is very squishy, very vulnerable to the sheer amount of burst damage. Adam's going all in on Photon, but Photon is so strong. It's a Clips Black Cleaver. And the windows of opportunity for BDS, the angles of attack, more and more limited.
Yeah, you kind of need time to come online with this composition. You're Senna to get a couple of souls in her back pocket, Taliyah to get to 2.5 to 3 items, but you're just not really be given that time. And I think a large portion of that has been just the way Vitality played really well off of these pushing lanes, getting it like Lyncas into the enemy jungle to steal away camps. Haley constantly trying to help those lanes so they continue the push. And now with the objectives in their favor and the ability to continue shoving these waves, it looks like BDS are just going to drop bot side and see if they can make a play on mid in a bit of a desperation play.
Vitality, though, they're not going to overcommit. On the side of BDS, they're rotating down. It looks like they've spotted Hilly, but unless Vetheo overstays, there's really not a play to be had here. Photon now ensuring that Adam at least cannot TP, keeping eyes on the Cassante. And there's no counterpunch. It's just a free tower. All right.
Yeah, it looked like they tried to set up a mid, but Carzzy was just playing way too far back. And this Corki has decent wave clear. Triforce completed, Phosphorus Bomb, a rocket into the middle of it kind of deletes the wave. So they just didn't really have the opportunity to set up a mid, especially with Hilly kind of playing protection on that side lane. So, or sorry, on the side of the lane. And now you just get to continue shoving all in. I mean, you haven't even used the Rift Herald, so Dragon, in just a few moments' time, feels like it'll be Rift Herald mid and just play it by the book.
And look, Rob, we don't know. I mean, I'm not going to speak for you. I don't know a lot about military history, but it seems that cavalry and air support
is a great combo.
beats infantry.
But
I played enough
why they couldn't put it into the game
correct.
at the same time. That's why they had to nerf it. They had to bring them into different patches, and cavalry need to be removed for when air support came.
I got you. We're classic multiplayer game, right? It's just rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Cavalry beats infantry and then air support fits in somewhere. They're like super
Lizard
paper.
Spock somewhere.
Yeah, Lizard Spock. Speaking of Lizard, it's gonna get locked up. It won't do anything. You'd be forced to stun a minion, but now the Herald's coming in, and Hylissang's gonna mount up. Cavalry inside of cavalry. Whoa. Cavalryception.
It's a Trojan horse.
It's a Trojan horse. Hilly's going again. And BDS, I don't know if they can do anything to stop this. Nuke's nowhere to be found. Hylissang's going to get caught out, but it might just give an opportunity for them to turn into burn. And Hylissang is going in. He's looking for the wombo. Trying to follow up. Lyncas going to lay it down. Is he going to put everybody to sleep? That's a 3-man drowsy, but everybody's already fallen to pieces. Vitality have overstayed. No one's able to follow up on the ultimate coming in from Lyncas, and BDS will hold the line.
The towers do fall, though, alongside Hilly, so going to be relatively happy that you still managed to get the control onto the map. It will fall back towards Dragon as well, because they did manage to poke out the damage enough, but yeah, a little bit of an overstep from Hilly, but it still works out in favor of Vitality.
You know what the problem was, Rob? He got rid of it. He went in as he stopped being cavalry. That was it was good until he just returned to normal infantry status.
And then he's just a pikeman. It's like, you know what?
What does he? Yeah, what does he got? It's an Age of Empires 2. There's gold in this. You need gold for pikemen in this game.
He went back down the technology tree. You never go back down.
Back to the Iron Age, bro. He's back, or Stone Age. Anyway, League of Legends.
Bring out the monk? You know, the monk that can bring
to convert people?
Yeah.
Look, they keep playing like
he
this. I'll be converted.
Oh, that's what Viego is. He goes wall, and then you become
certainly.
Side.
Hylissang, again, back to being a pikeman, non-threatening. And say what you want. This is a player, you know what you're gonna get. I agree, audience. Hylissang, bringer of action. There will be no slow games as long as Hylissang is on this stage. That said, he did get a little aggressive there. I think tried to make a hard read on enemy play patterns, and now Photon is doing a little bit of the same.
Yeah, a little bit overextended.
Okay, a little bit overextended. Flash out for Photon. He's still going to get knocked out. Flash commit for Sheo. Now they're going to just try and kill him. 21 minutes. Baron, probably? No, just a couple of kills, a shutdown. They're happy to have it. 4-1-1 now for Sheo. Talked a lot about Lyncas, but this is the man getting all the kills on the side of BDS.
It's a lot of gold going into BDS. I mean, you get the wave states way better in your favor. They were already pretty far shoved in. You're getting the gold off the 2 kills. You're going to be really happy with that as BDS. You probably get Nuke completing his second item off the back base here as well. No, actually just going to go for the control ward. But at this stage, the fact that you now get to shove back out onto the map, get vision down for, say, control over Baron, or you can start to play for these towers, is a pretty mighty win for BDS.
Yeah, I'm still kind of wondering why Photon and Hylissang were both respectively there consecutively. One top side jungle, followed immediately by, oh, okay, now bot side jungle is safe. BDS, good on them for finding those quick punishes, but feels like some unnecessary deaths from the side of Vitality.
They went into the barbarian village and then it turned out to be hostile. It was a disaster.
Civ 7's announced, man. I'm ready. That's all I'm going to say. In the meantime,
I haven't watched the trailer. I just saw that it wasn't.
And yeah, I mean, what's the trailer going to be? The graphics are going to suck. We're all going to play it. It's, you know exactly what you're getting. Been the same for years. For BDS, they think they found the angle to take down the cavalry. Hylissang wants to deny that. Labrov is not going to drop, but Vitality will break open this tier 2 tower.
They can do the same, just moving up into this top side. You've already got the wave pushed for Photon. Wave vision's going to go down. It doesn't look like they want to overextend too much, but they did see Adam on the bottom side, so I wasn't sure if they want to try and hard force anything to get the TP out of Adam, but going to be happy to just back away. Now, start up the Baron themselves. But BDS are coming into the area.
Do they have... No blue trinkets. So they have no way to ward this safely from a distance. Dawning Shadow will do the trick. Ulti used just to confirm that it is in fact happening, but they're going to be a little bit too late. They might be able to grab Hylissang one more time, but it's just a clean Baron pickup. I'm not sure if they just saw the lack of blue trinkets or just wanted to go for it and say, you know, BDS come check. But BDS are way, way too late, and free Baron to the side of Vitality.
And it only gets worse now for BDS because Vitality being able to have Photon push side is going to be huge. Carzzy as well getting a ton of control, and also just how strong a siege is with the ability to shoot down these rockets makes it really hard for BDS to contend this. So you can see them trying to just shove out waves as quickly as possible, but Vitality, they've gone for the resets, they're coming back out of the map, and I just don't see a way that BDS really stop this.
This is certainly not the mid to late game that BDS were looking for. They were put at a pretty heavy deficit early on, but the lanes just kind of collapsed, and it's been snowballing from that moment on. Hylissang, over-aggressive once. Photon trades 1 for 1 on the top side. Feels like almost all of BDS's kills have been the result of someone on the side of Vitality overstepping. And while they're leading in kills, they're still woefully behind in gold. They're sending 2 members along the top side here to try to break the enemy tier 2, but Vitality already breaking the tier 1. And remember, they have 6 grubs. TP's coming in. Adam is here. Lyncas just going to continue to fish with the Swirl Seed. See if he can find a good sleep angle. As Photon already trying to usher a wave in mid lane. 2 points of pressure. Nuke really just wants to grab this tier 2. Just get a little bit more gold in his back pocket. But Photon going all in on a Sheo. Unstoppable now. Photon's still on the chase. Lower and lower. It's one sleepy Viego. But there's no follow-up. Photon, does he have another dash to get over the wall? Looks like he's going to be forced to fight on this one. Nice pushback coming in from Adam. Ulti used as well. Photon still living for a bit too long, and Hylissang might have to give up his life as well. Adam quick on the punish. A tower has dropped, but 2 members of Vitality will be the exchange.
They will get bot, tower and in hit, but here comes the chase. BDS really want this. A nuke.
Isolating. I don't want to go a little bit further on the wall. Will now drop it. Super blast cone.
TP from Carzzy back into this bottom side. Vitality want to make sure they're able to get the members out here.
Fight for the Drake. Don't want to be playing against the pressure of 4th Drake. Flash out from Vetheo was clean, but they still manage to hit up Lyncas. Flick back, not quite going to connect. Adam now in trouble. He's taking so much damage. Vetheo really starting to hurt. Lyncas just focuses on the objective. Carzzy continuing to lay down poke. Vetheo going golden, courtesy of the Seeker's arm guard. Now he's going to get cut out, though. Cut down, shut down for Nuke. BDS focused on the objective here. Lyncas not going to be able to get in and smite it. Labrov going to grab the kill in the end.
Another TP in, though, this time from Photon. It looks like they want to try and keep this play up, maybe move into the bottom side, but no, they're all just going to reset instead. So a bit of a wasted TP from Photon, but Vitality trying to stand tall. Great flash from Vetheo. The reactions were insane there, but Lyncas ends up taking a little bit of damage. They get the kill onto Adam, but they just can't really follow up from this position. It's 4v3, and Vetheo had already just burnt his splash, so once Labrov gets the hook, it's easy pickings. And at that stage, Vitality hover to see if they can get a smite, but it's just never going to happen in this position.
In those extended fights, you can see BDS finally starting to get stronger. 94 stacks now there for Ice 2, close to 100 extra range, going to make it that much easier to navigate the fights. Sheo as well on 2.5 items, and really have to respect the potential for Nuke to find those flicks to limit those mobility options or engage options for Vitality. But all said, still a 3K gold lead. Baron has faded away at 7 towers to 2. I think the concerning thing if you're Vitality is if you make another mistake, and BDS managed to get a Baron, there's so much free money on the map right now.
Especially when you look at like Nuke nearly at his Rabadons. You're going to start to see Ice picking up his damage as well. 93 souls, and they're going to crest the 100 mark, which is just a nice spot to be in. Like across the board, you're kind of getting to the point where BDS are coming online. And this is why we're saying Vitality wanted to get the ball rolling early. They've done that successfully. Now it's just a case of getting that last little push to bring this game home.
Nuke just continuing to split. Desperate to finish that death cap, as you highlighted. BDS just hold. I mean, without the Baron, again, without the full commit to the dive, it's really hard for Vitality to get anything done there on side. Good enough wave clear even without Nuke there.
I think the biggest problem that they're having is their allocation of where they are. I think if you actually have the 4-man in mid threatening the inhibitor, you can have Photon push in on this top side and actually be the one that really gets your position on the map to shove mid, then rotate up to top and get the tower. But if you commit the majority of your resources into that top lane tower, it's way easier for BDS to all be in position to clear out the wave before you can really get there. So at the moment, Vitality just can't really get through these last remaining towers, and BDS very happy to get more gold into their carries.
Slowly dragging the game out. Vitality need to play clean in the next coming objectives. Losing that Drake really hurts. Denies them the potential for Soul or getting Elder on the table sooner when they're already favored. Ice linking up with Sheo just to grab a couple extra souls. We'll tick over to 100 here momentarily. And Death Cap again, really close. Vetheo opting for some defensive itemization in the form of the Zhonya's, but is level 16, has max rank Shockwave. If any of the carries in the back line, Ice and Nuke, group up, a fight can be ended incredibly quickly by Vetheo alone. Lyncas as well can just fish for the sleep. So the angles for Vitality to close this out are there. They just really have to find them, have to follow up on them.
Establishing vision on this top side is good for them at the moment. At least then they can try and set up for a pick in towards the Baron that's about to spawn, or even look for a fight. But BDS are, especially Labrov, are really hitting the point where they are just so tanky, it's really difficult to try and deal with them. So Vitality need to be careful about how they're approaching this. At least they know the nuke is on the bottom side. They're going to try and get that teleport out now as they start up the Baron.
Nuke running up. Easy for Vetheo to zone with the ball. Ice waiting over the wall. Good front lining. Labrov and Adam ready to tank up damage. Can fish for the hooks as Sheo just threatens. Tries to zone them off, but they don't get, or they do get the TP, excuse me, and that's really all Vitality wanted.
But it does open up BDS to get mid-wave because of the way Vitality exited. So with this wave now pushing in, BDS are trying to cut Vitality off of this mid-tower so they can get that gold.
Hook in. Hylissang immediately going to try to force. Going to try to find the engage onto Adam, but Adam is finding a quick way out using that ultimate. In goes Sheo. Sheo now going to get the reset onto Hylissang. Can just mount up and make his way out to safety. One sleepy Labrov might not be enough. Photon finds the stun onto Adam, but really not a priority target in these extended fights. BDS are holding their own. Ice just continuing to auto. Free hitting. 5 members strong for BDS. They burned most of their cooldowns. Hylissang down for another 18.
If they can get the resets off on Adam and Labrov, though, they can come back in for this Dragon in 30 seconds. And that's why you can see Vitality trying to push forward, stop those resets from coming through. But now Vetheo in no man's land forced the
TP flash out from Vetheo. Wall coming in as well. Should be an easy flick back. Manages to catch him. And Nuke now on a killing spree. Carzzy might be the next one to be in trouble. Labrov looking for the hook angle. BDS happy for now just to have mid-prio. Likely to take the tower, but they got Photon as well. Yet another flick back, and BDS are coming alive. 31 minutes into the game, and they're going to set their sights on the Baron.
That's both solo laners dead, with Baron now up and available. Looks like Vitality may be trying to trade it for the Dragon that is spawned on that bottom side, but give them third one. But BDS, that is exactly what they needed to get themselves into this game.
And look at the gold. 5K lead for Vitality 10 minutes ago, and now it's just about tied up. The Baron will tie things up. Vitality will grab third Drake, a consolation prize. But for the next 2.5 minutes, this Red Bull Baron power play, BDS are going to be running the Rift.
And Vetheo just getting completely caught out here. Stepped in, thought he had the vision so he was safe, but didn't realize it was a ward in the bush. The TP zones him away. And with that follow-up, they're able to now get on towards Photon as well. I think at this stage, you just give up the tower. You are 2v5 against this onslaught from BDS, but it means they get the tower, they get the Baron, and now they're going to be in a significantly better spot as they come back into the map to start pushing waves, get the standing gold you talked about earlier, Drakos.
And I think the thing for BDS is just incredibly disciplined in these last few plays, not to 100% overcommit. Hylissang and the side of Vitality over-forcing has been the story for a lot of this game, right? Hylissang, a lot of jump-ins, 5 deaths. He is an aggressive player, but the play in mid, the play in that exchange, burning all those cooldowns on Adam, ultimately not paying off. And then you have Photon getting caught as well. This is a guy who has an individual gold lead, but is still at 4 deaths from all the fights that BDS have been coming out on top in. Siege, though, just going to keep continuing here on the bottom side. Ulti there from Labrov, hoping to find the follow-up onto Carzzy. The Valk still getting caught, still getting shut down. BDS, I didn't even feel like they played for the first 25 minutes, but you give them that time, you let them into their zone, and you're going to regret it. Sheo not going to grab a mid lane tower. A lot of resources being committed just to try to take the jungle out, but Nuke is here. Sheo living for a little bit too long. They want to find the reset onto Hylissang, and they get it. Vitality are falling apart. Lambs to the slaughter as BDS tear through them one more time.
That could be it. You have the entirety of BDS up here. The wave is coming through. Nuka's going to reset it. Imagine teleport back in as this wave crashes under the tower. They can just go for the finish right here.
They just outscaled. They outplayed. They found their picks. They found their angles. Vitality looked so good in the early to mid game, but they couldn't close, and a few missteps are all it took for BDS to come back. The Siege now coming through. Ice untouched, just continuing to tear through the towers. Another flick. Nuke on fire despite struggles in the early game. BDS holding on, but Vitality now trying to punish, and they managed to finish the Nexus. That's the first win coming through in summer for BDS.
BDS punishing Vitality every step of the way. They overextend at crucial moments. Buy time for BDS to hit the late game. And then it just became like the one combo they learned from the fighting game. It was hook into flick, hook into flick. And BDS coming out with a W on day one.
Look, you gotta learn your bread and butters, Dagda. You need to know your setups into your ultimates. And as great as the early game was, again, BDS playing cleaner in the end when it really mattered most. Player of the game, vote now at LEC on X, Sheo, Nuke, or Labrov. all solid options, to be honest with you. Nuke though probably, but it's tough. It's tough. It's hard to say. Luckily, you can decide for yourself as the players bow here. We're gonna go ahead and do a quick break. When we return, more League of Legends, G2 versus Mad Lions, right around the corner.
Red Bull gives you wings.